don't worry. Whether you're working here already or planning to move, talk about students working part-time in a huge part of balancing life and paying for tuition or rent. Negotiate higher pay and chase bigger dreams. Remember, your journey doesn't stop at minimum wage. For new immigrants, when you land here, the wage you earn might seem high. And under 18, your pay is rising from $15.60 to $16. Welcome back to my channel. Call me Nivek. Started with K. If you are thinking of moving to Canada, the land of maple syrup, free healthcare, and the minimum wage. But wait, what exactly the minimum wage here is? And how does it change over the year? More importantly, how does it affect you as an immigrant planning your new life in Canada? So keep watching because the answers might just surprise you. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the end for some key insight about the new job visa for immigration and how it could either make or break your Canadian dream. Or whether you're a student or even a new immigrant planning to work in Canada, understanding minimum wage is crucial. Okay, let's start with a quick question. What is minimum wage? You probably think it's a number, right? Well, it's a bit more than that. Minimum wage is absolute minimum amount employers are legally allowed to pay their employees per hour. Now, you might be wondering, why should I care about this? Simple. If you're new to the country, trying to establish yourself, this is the reality you might be dealing with when starting out. But here's the catch. Minimum wage varies across Canada. And over the last decade, we have seen an interesting trend. The wages have been increasingly, but so has something else that could impact your wallet. Can you guess? Yeah, inflation.
इतनी महंगाई बढ़ रही थी मेरे बाप परेशान थे मैंने कहा गुजराल साहब तुमने इतनी महंगाई में 4 बच्चे क्यों कर लिए तो मेरे बाप कह रहे ऐसा है जब हम कर रहे थे तब इतनी महंगाई नहीं थी
So here's where things get interesting. Let's take a journey back to 2014. Minimum wage back then was a lot lower. But guess what? The cost of living was too. As the year rolled on, the government started raising wages, little by little, to keep up with the inflation, the rising cost of goods and services. You're getting paid more, but your grocery bill, rent, and everything else, well, they're also skyrocketing. And as you see, the minimum wage has definitely been on the rise, but look at that inflation jump in 2021 and 2022. It makes you wonder, has the wage increase kept up with our growing living costs? Well, we'll get into that in just a moment. And here's a fun fact. In some provinces like Ontario and British Columbia, minimum wage has hit almost $17 or more. But can that really keep up with inflation that's been on a steep rise, especially after the pandemic? Something to think about, right? Now, I know you're curious. Is the recent wage increase enough to make a difference in your day-to-day life? What about future increases? And here, where it gets even more interesting. Canada's new immigration policies and work programs like the one introduced just recently might play a role in this part too. But before we get into that, let's first unpack how inflation has been affecting you behind the scenes. So, here's the deal. Minimum wage goes up, but so does the cost of your avocado toast you love, your rent, and the utilities. It feels like a never-ending cycle, right? But don't worry. Whether you're working here already or planning to move, being informed is your best tool. So let's get into it. Minimum wage in Canada isn't one size fits for all. Each province has its own rates, and yes, it changes from time to time. So what's the deal in 2024? Let's break it down by provinces. Alright guys, so let's break down the minimum wage situation across some major provinces in Canada because I know a lot of you are curious about how much you'll be earning depending on where you are. So first up, for anyone working in federal regulated jobs like banking or telecommunication, you're looking at $17.30 an hour Plus, if you're clocking overtime, that's time and a half after 8 hours a day or 40 hours a week. Not bad, right? Now, if you're heading over to Alberta, the minimum wage is sitting around $15 an hour. But here's a twist. If you are a student under 18 working part-time, you'll earn $13 an hour for up to 28 hours a week. Once you cross that, boom, back to $15 an hour. Overtime. That kick is after 44 hours a week. In British Columbia, we have got one of the highest minimum wage in the country at $17.40 an hour. And get this, overtime here is 1.5 after 8 hours a day. And if you're a real workhorse putting in more than 12 hours, you're getting double time. Seriously, that's some serious cash if you're grinding out those long hours. Or in Manitoba, we have got $15.30 an hour, but it's actually going up to $15.80 October 1st, 2024. So a little more in your pocket. And just like most places, overtime kicks in after 8 hours a day or 40 hours a week. Alright, now, if you're coming to provinces like Ontario or Quebec, here's what you can expect. In Ontario, the wage is currently $16.55, but that's going up to $17.20, effective October 1st, 2024. And if you are a student under 18, your pay is rising from $15.60 to $16.20. And as always, overtime starts after 44 hours in a week. And for those of you who are in Quebec, the minimum wage is $15.75 an hour with the overtime kicking in after 40 hours. So yeah, that's the rundown. Different provinces, different rates, but no matter where you are, these increases are here to help you out. So let me know in the comment if any of these wage bumps are happening in your area and how do you feel about them. Okay, now let's talk about students working part-time in a huge part of balancing life and paying for tuition or rent. The higher minimum wage in provinces like British Columbia and Ontario can definitely help you cover those extra costs, but be mindful of provincial tax rates too. That's not going anywhere. And for new immigrants, understanding these wage difference is key. When you land here, the wage you earn might seem high, but so is the cost of living in major cities like Toronto or Vancouver. So budgeting smartly is everything. But don't be discouraged because jobs are still available, and for those who are willing to put in the work, higher wages in certain regions like Nunavut, $19 an hour, or British Columbia with $17.40 an hour can provide a decent life. And if you know how to manage your expenses wisely, you are there. Now, so don't panic just yet. There are still ways to make things work in your favor. Networking on platforms like LinkedIn, asking for recommendation, and improving your skill set can help you stand out from the crowd. So don't settle for the first job offer you get. Keep hustling for better opportunities. And remember, your journey doesn't stop at minimum wage. You're not here to just start and keep working at the minimum wage. You have sacrificed a lot. You have worked hard. You have given so much things, and you have worked so much hard on yourself. So you're not going to settle on the minimum wage. That's the starting of your pay that they have to pay.
कहना क्या चाहते हो?
So don't lose hope. And as you gain Canadian experience, the work experience, you can move up, negotiate higher pay, and chase bigger dreams. So there you have it, the minimum wage, inflation, and the new CapCut job visa. If you haven't seen, click on the link. But it's a complicated equation. But if you play your card right, you can come out on top. It's about more than just surviving. It's about thriving in this land of opportunities. Thanks for sticking with me to the end, and now you're armed with the info you need to navigate Canada's job market like a pro. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe for more insight on how you make your immigration journey smoother. Until then, hasta la vista.